With over 100 years of combined coaching experience, the Coble name is one of the most recognized and respected names in the sport of water skiing. Since establishing Coble Water Ski and Wakeboard Camp in 1995, the camp has developed into 10 private lakes situated on 250 acres of fresh country land in Lillington, North Carolina, and has become the largest water ski and wakeboard camp in the world. After teaching tens of thousands of people of all ages to water ski and wakeboard, the Cobles want to share their knowledge and help you improve your skills for easy and safe water skiing. The Coble and Eller families are excited to have put this video together for you in hopes that your water skiing experience will be as much fun as possible.
Hello and welcome to Coble Water Ski and Wakeboard Camp. I'm April Coble Eller, head coach.
And I'm Chris Eller, head boat driver and coach.
We are so excited to show you a video that we've come up with to help you learn how to water ski and wakeboard the easy way. Enjoy. Welcome to the wonderful world of water skiing. I love this sport for so many different reasons. I like this sport because it's healthy. I like this sport because a family can do it together. There is no other exercise that you can do for 15 minutes that makes you feel the way water skiing will make you feel. There's no other sport that you can take your whole entire family out to a place and be on the water in the summertime and enjoy boating and being out on the lake like you can when you water ski. Water skiing is an amazing sport with amazing benefits, but it can also be dangerous. So before we start with our lessons, I want to go over a few safety tips that you'll need to remember when you go out on the lake. First, the life jacket, the most important piece of this entire puzzle. Everybody on the water and in the boat needs to have a life jacket on that is Coast Guard approved and that fits appropriately. Don't ever try to grow into a life jacket. If a life jacket is too big, it can rise up on the skier and give them face rash, and it can also come off in a hard fall. Make sure your life jacket is hard to zip, meaning that it fits really tight, and also that when you buckle, that you tighten the buckles. Next, you're gonna need a good ski rope and a good handle. Make sure that your handle and your rope are in good condition when you start skiing every year. If they are faded or if they are frayed, throw them out and get something different. You definitely don't want the rope to break. The second thing is to pay attention to your surroundings. When I talk about surroundings in a lake, I talk about everything that could potentially be hazardous to the skier while in the water or the boat. So look out for docks, look out for obstacles, look out for shallow spots, anything that could be a hazard, because we do not want anybody getting hurt. Finally, let's talk about boating safety. This is a pretty big chapter because there are so many things that will go into making an experience for water skiing good or not so good, and the driver has a lot to do with that. First of all, anytime the skier is in the water behind the boat, whether starting or whether finishing and getting in the boat, make sure the boat is off. Very important. Secondly, the driver needs to have some experience. The more experienced the driver, the more comfortable he or she is in the driver's seat, the better he will perform for the skier behind the boat. You need a mirror. If you have a mirror on your windshield, it's easier for the driver to see the skier right behind the boat. Next, when you are pulling a skier or a wakeboarder up for the first time, try to have the rope go straight out the back of the boat, because a straight pull-up is much easier than trying to pull somebody up from one side or the other. Next, when you're getting ready to pull a skier up, bump the boat in gear and out of gear until the line gets tight. When the line is tight, put the boat in gear. When the skier says ready, then you can slowly get the skier up. Notice I said slowly. It's difficult for a skier who's learning to have a really hard start. The more gentle you are with the throttle on your boat, the easier it is for the skier to get up. If they need more gas eventually, then you can give them more gas, but always err on the side of easier starts in the very beginning. So remember, driving is one of the most important parts of teaching somebody how to water ski. The driver can make or break somebody's skiing experience. If you're a good driver, it's really easy to get somebody up and to teach them how to ski. If you're not paying attention and you drag somebody, it's really hard to get them back on board to learn how to water ski. So be smart, pay attention, and be a good driver. Over the years at Coble Ski School, we have learned that the easiest progression to teach somebody how to ski and wakeboard is to learn how to ski on two skis first, and then it's a very easy transition into wakeboarding. The first thing we'll need is a pair of two skis tied together in the front. The ski length should correlate with the person's height. If you have to err one side or the other, go bigger. It just makes it easier. And for our little bitties, we have something called a skimmer or a magic carpet. It's just a rounded board in the front, and you literally pull them off the beach, and it makes for a magical experience. But back to those two skis, make sure those skis are tied together about shoulder width apart, feet about shoulder width apart, and weights on the back. That's going to make it really easy for them to sit in the water in the correct skiing position. Now, if you don't have the weights and your skier is fighting the position in the water, have somebody hop in the water with a life jacket on and just hold them steady from behind. Again, this all makes for a much easier, much more comfortable skiing experience. When I teach somebody how to water ski, I always teach them on land first. If they can do it on land properly, going to the water is easy. So I'm going to demonstrate, and you be the boat, I'll be the skier. When you sit down, you want to make sure that you're in a cannonball position, so arms around the knees, heels all the way back to your bottom as close as possible. When the boat starts to go, I'm going to roll to my toes as I say a sentence. That sentence goes as follows. Okay, ready, boat? I'm going to go ahead and pull me. I'm going to roll to my toes. Keep going. My favorite food is pizza. Right there, and that's where I stop. Okay? All right, now it's your turn. Have a seat. Get in your cannonball position, arms around your knees, heels as close to your bottom as you can with your feet spread shoulder width apart for me. Okay? Now that you're in that position, you're going to look at me as the boat starts to go. You're going to leave your arms out and say, my favorite food is pizza. And stop right there. That's perfect. Now, a reminder to all your beginner skiers, if you get in trouble, if you start to fall, let go. Now we're straight. Here we go. My favorite food is pizza. Now we're going to show you a few popular mistakes that people do, both on land and on the water. So if they're doing these mistakes on land, it is not time to go to the water yet. When they do them correctly on land, then we can go to the water. A common mistake people make while learning to get up on two skis is also to pull the rope in as you try to stand, which makes you fall back. In this case, remember just to let go, but we'll show here, we'll demonstrate here. Ready? My favorite food is pizza. Another mistake is when the driver gives the skier too much gas and the skier stands too quickly, and the result is the skier falls forward. So kind of like this, you pull up and then you just roll forward. How long should your ski rope be, and how fast should the boat go? Those are questions I get every day from parents who are pulling their kids on different lakes. Number one, the rope. If you buy a tournament ski rope, it has colored sections, okay? The closer that your skier can be to the boat, the more intimate the feel. I would start the skier on the orange loop, or about 60 feet, 50 to 60 feet, or the red loop. Either of those is going to give you a close feel, but it's also going to be far enough away from the boat so that we don't have to worry about any safety issues. How fast should the boat go? That depends on your boat. Some boats plane very quickly. We have Mastercraft ski boats. They plane almost instantly. We would pull a little skier at about 12 or 13 miles an hour. We would pull an adult on 2 skis at about 18 to 20 miles per hour. Your boat may not plane as quickly. It may take a little bit longer for the boat to plane, and if it does, just make sure your skier gets up and then you back off the throttle when your skier planes so the boat doesn't take off and leave your skier. So to summarize, the correct way to get up on 2 skis is cannonball position, arms around the knees, feet shoulder width apart, heels as close to your bottom as you can, head looking at me and saying your sentence so that you get up nice and slowly and you stop halfway up. Ready? My favorite food is pizza. Now that you're up on 2 skis, what's next? Let's learn how to go back and forth and learn edge control on the skis. So when you're skiing in the proper position behind the boat, knees slightly bent, chest upright, you're going to learn to edge back and forth by pushing on one leg and then gently pushing on the other. There's a game that we like to play called wake tag, and you simply edge all the way over to one wake and you touch it without going over it yet. You edge over to the other wake, touch it, back and forth. See how many times you can touch the wakes in either a timed distance or till you get to the end of your lake, whichever is about 20 seconds. After you've learned to edge back and forth, it's time to start going over the wakes. Now you can go over the wakes with the skis tied together or with them untied. It doesn't matter. I'm fine either way. Learn to go over the wakes by pushing on one leg, going all the way over the wake, and then coming back to the middle, then go to the other side. Once you're crossing the wakes easily, then we can start to learn to walk on water. When you're comfortable on 2 skis, we do a drill called walking on water, where you literally lift one foot a little bit and then lift the other foot, stand on one, stand on the other for a few seconds. Whichever foot you like standing on the best becomes your front foot or your dominant foot. There are 2 ways to figure out which foot goes in the front on a slalom ski. One is a sneaky way, and you cannot tell your skier that you're going to do this, but you simply walk up behind them and give them a little shove. Whichever foot they step on is generally the front foot. That works about 75% of the time. The other, more definite way to figure out which foot goes in the front is going to be the walk on water drill. Whichever foot they like standing on most comfortably, standing on the best, that generally is the front foot. So after you've learned to walk on water and you've established which foot you're going to put in the front, we need to decide, should you drop a ski to get on one ski, or should you just try to get up on one ski with both feet in? There are 2 schools of thought. One, if the skier weighs less than about 70 pounds, we always try to get up with both feet in rather than dropping one. Sometimes the pressure from one ski coming off will make them fall if they don't weigh enough. So if you have somebody, say up to 10 or 11 years old, it's easier for them to learn to get up with both feet in. If somebody is heavier than that, then we like to do the walk on water drill and then learn to drop one. Once we establish which foot you like to stand on, then we can drop a ski. So right now, your right foot is your dominant foot. I want you to put all your pressure on that foot, so you're de-weighting your left one. When you de-weight the left foot, I want you to slide it back while looking at me. Always keep your head up. Slide the ski back, point your toe. When you point your toe, the ski is going to come off. When it comes off, leave your toe dragging in the water like a training wheel on a bicycle. After you've ridden for a while, it might take several tries, but after you've ridden for a while, when you're ready to put your foot on the ski, simply slide your foot over slowly until you feel an air pocket behind your other foot, then step down on that foot and get your shoulders back. Now you're on one ski. When it's time to learn to get up on one ski, we do another on-land lesson as well. So I like to either have somebody hold the rope or to tie the rope to a pole if you have that luxury at a dock area. But have the skier stand straight up with one foot in front of the other, and then just have a seat. Just have a seat right on the ground, okay? From this position, the skier is going to look at me. I'm just going to stay still, and the skier is going to push on the balls of his feet for a 4-second count. We're going to say up, 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 and away, like a hot air balloon. So when your boat's ready, go ahead, say ready. Here we go. Arms out, and push on the balls of your feet for up, 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 and away. When we say away, the shoulders go back, the knees come together, and they're slightly bent with the weight evenly distributed on the feet. All right, now we're straight. Here we go. For up, 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 and away. Woo! Some common mistakes that people make when they're learning how to slalom ski are pushing too hard with one foot and falling over, or trying to stand too quickly and going over the front. So we're going to demonstrate these so you can see what not to do. As the skier starts to stand, if he pushes too hard on one foot, then he's just going to fall over to the side. Or if he starts to stand too quickly, then the boat's going to pull you forward and you're going to fall forward. The easiest way to learn how to get up on one ski is to use this handle. It's called an easy up handle. It has a deep V in the rope where you're going to literally take your ski and put it right here in the middle, like so. So you put your ski right up in the middle of the handle, and it balances you. It keeps you from falling side to side on the start. When the boat goes, as you start to stand up, 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 and away, the rope will lift off your ski, and away you go. Now that you know how to get up on one ski, I'm going to go over two very important things that will make a world of difference in your slalom skiing. The first thing we're going to talk about is what size ski to ski on. We have two different options: skinny, wide, shorter, and longer. The first ski is one like this, a little bit wider in the forebody. This is a little bit shorter. Remember earlier we talked about the height or the length of a ski correlating to the height of a skier. So this would be for somebody around 10 to 12 years old. If you're about my size or bigger, a bigger ski is going to be easier for you to get up on. Something similar to this. When I say bigger, I mean not only taller or longer, but also wider. When you're getting up on one ski regularly, you're not using the easy up handle anymore, you're crossing the wakes with ease, and you've raised your boat speed a little bit, you can graduate to what we call a traditional width slalom ski. These allow us to go a little faster, make turns a little harder. There are two different setups for the traditional slalom skis. One that has a boot on the front and then a toe piece in the back, and then one that has double boots. This is completely personal preference. One setup is not better than the other. Whatever you prefer is going to be better for you to ski with. If you use a boat that doesn't have as much horsepower as, say, our Mastercraft boats, you may find that getting up, dragging a foot, and using the toe piece is a better option for you. So let's talk about body position on a slalom ski. Body position on a slalom ski is very, very important for two reasons. Number one, it's more efficient, meaning you can last longer when you're skiing, because water skiing is a pretty tough sport. And number two, it's safer. If you're in a safe body position, the chances of you falling are a lot less. So, when you're standing on a slalom ski, one foot in front of the other, you want to make sure that from your knees to your neck is always a straight line. Okay, so from your knees to the neck, a straight line. You want to hold your arms to your side when you're holding the handle with a slight bend in your arms. In other words, I'm not locking my arms straight, but I'm certainly not pulling them in. I'm just relaxing my elbows right on the sides of my body. When you're standing on a slalom ski, you want to make sure that your weight is evenly distributed, front foot and back foot. So ideally, the center of gravity should be right between your feet. We don't want to see anybody shift forward. That can cause a forward fall. And we don't want to see anybody lean way back on the back foot. That'll cause the ski to rear up. Generally, when you learn to get up on two skis, you get up with both hands on top, like this, both palms facing down. When you go to one ski, you want to turn one hand under, one or the other. How do you know which one? Well, whichever foot you have in the front, that palm faces down and the other palm faces up. All right? So if you're left foot forward, you're going to hold the handle right hand baseball grip. This is for body symmetry, because whichever foot you have in the front, your lower body leans better going that way. Whichever palm you have facing up, your upper body leans better going that way. So if we alternate, whichever palm is up to the foot forward, then you're going to be real symmetrical when you lean back and forth. When kids are slalom skiing on a single wide ski, the boat speed does not have to be quite as fast. The wider the ski, the more water it displaces, so you generally can go about 15 miles per hour on this ski. For an adult skiing on a wider ski, you're going to go around 20 to 22 miles per hour. When you're slalom skiing on a traditional width ski, your speed is going to range from about 22 to about 32 miles per hour. The fastest speed that any skier will actually be able to ski in competition is 34 miles per hour for women and 36 miles per hour for men. So don't even worry about reaching those high speeds. They're a little bit dangerous. When you're first learning, stay slower, learn proper technique, and you'll learn much faster. The rope length that we recommend when you're beginning to slalom ski is about 60 feet or the red loop if you have a competition ski rope. If you get too close to the boat, you might get in a lot of turbulence from the boat wakes. If you get farther away, we kind of lose you back there. It doesn't feel as intimate. So bring the rope in to the red loop around 60 feet. As soon as you get up on one ski, go ahead and assume the correct slalom position. The correct position, remember, is from the knees to the neck, one straight line. This is the way I want you to ride the ski anytime you're on it. It doesn't matter if you're crossing the wakes or if you're pulling out to the end to take a rest. I want you to ride this position all the time. Go ahead and create muscle memory. From this position, you can learn to cross the wakes. So you literally just look in the direction that you want to go. You rotate your hips and rotate your feet a little bit in the direction that you want to go, and the ski will get on edge and go that way. The more comfortable you get going outside the wakes, the wider you can allow yourself to go. Don't go too wide though, because you'll find that there's a certain point where if you get really wide, you'll have slack coming back. That just means that you're pulling way too far out beside the boat and turning too quickly. So if you do start edging back and forth through the wakes and your line is tight, then you're doing it right. If you edge out really far and you're starting to get slack rope, that means that you're pulling too far. You need to let up your pull a little bit sooner, start your turn a little bit earlier, and get set in that position before you come back to the wakes. Alrighty guys, from here we're going to move inside to the classroom where we're going to show you on a whiteboard what a real slalom course looks like and how much fun it is to go around these little buoys. Welcome to my classroom. This is what I like to call Course Skiing 101. For those of you who have never seen buoys before, you go out to a lake and you look around, it just looks like a mumbo-jumbo mess of balls laying on the water. It's much easier if you can visualize from a classroom setting before you hit the course. Typically the boat will go right down the middle of the course. There are 6 buoys, 3 on the right and 3 on the left. Number 1 ball is always on the right, and you alternate back and forth, going around all 6 buoys and then out the exit gates. In the beginning, when you first learn to run the course, we're going to make that course narrow. So instead of the boat driving right down the center of the boat guides, we're going to take the boat out of the course between the right-hand turn ball and the boat guides. So I'm just going to draw now where the boat is going to go. So we're going to be going right here down the middle between the right-hand turn balls and the boat guides. Now, I want the skier to go outside the right wake and get the closest buoy to the wake. That's going to be one of these. If you have mini course buoys, it's going to be an inside one. If you don't, if you just have the full-size buoys, it's going to be one right here. Either way, it's not very far beside the wake. So you're going to make a turn, you're going to cross the wakes, and you're going to get the next closest buoy, which is going to happen to be a boat guide buoy. Continue that pattern 6 times until you get to the end. The 2 things I've talked about that are most important on a slalom ski are technique, meaning the right body position, and timing. What does timing mean? Timing means where you make your turn so that your rope is tight and so that you are up course. What does up course mean? Well, it means that you have plenty of time to finish the turn and get to the next buoy in time. So if you'll look at my drawing, I've started my turn before the buoy so that I can finish my turn right behind the buoy, get set in my position before I enter the work zone, which is right behind the boat, and then I come up, I start my turn early again, so I finish my turn right behind the buoy. Just remember, the buoy is a place where you finish a turn, not where you start. At ski school, I always talk about an imaginary buoy. So if you can imagine skiing to a buoy 10 feet in front of and a little wider than the real buoy, then that's going to allow you to start your turn there, then finish at the end of the buoy or the backside of the buoy so you're early for the next one. The boat speed when you're running the mini course will vary. It's going to depend on two things, how big you are and how good you are. If you're younger or smaller, and you're more a beginner, then we're going to go slower. So typically on the mini course, for a younger person, we would go anywhere between 16 and 20 miles per hour. The better you get, the easier it is to run, the faster you can go. For an adult-sized person, you're going to start at about 20 miles per hour and go upwards of 28 miles per hour. But once it gets really easy at faster speeds, then it's time to go wider. Now that you've mastered the mini course, it's time to go wider, right to the full course. Now, to ask you to go out and to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in sequence on the full course for the first time is a little bit ridiculous. So at ski school, we pick and choose the buoys that we would like for you to run. For instance, I have the skier pull out to the right side, glide for a second, and turn one ball nice and early. This generally gets you across course and around number 2. However, since you're not used to where to turn yet, and if you aren't turning as early as I want you to turn yet, chances are you're going to miss the third one, and that's okay. Just go across the wakes, make a turn, and try to pick up the fourth one or even the fifth one. When we first learn, 1 or 2 buoys on the full course is a fantastic start. When you can cross the wakes and pick up a third, and eventually a fourth, and then a fifth and sixth, then that's the goal. Over the years at ski school, one thing that we found that really helps learn to run the slalom course is placing intermediate buoys in your course. So if you have a floating course, it's very easy. You just come in from the outside buoy however far you want. So we have courses where the buoy is sitting just 8 feet inside the other one. We also have courses where the buoy is sitting halfway, which is just over 15 or 16 feet in. These are a tremendous helper because when you cross the wake and do the intermediate one, it's a lot easier at first to learn the rhythm than if you have to stretch all the way out for the outside buoy. Going around the outside buoy will come. It'll come with time, and it'll come as you get better at your technique and turning early with your timing. There's an area behind the boat that we call the work zone. This is the area where you're allowed to lean as hard as you want to, okay? So every boat has a little bit of spray that comes off the wakes. From the edge of the spray through the wakes to the edge of the spray is what we call the work zone. That's the area from spray to spray that you need to be in your strong position and holding your lean nice and still. If you have any trouble whatsoever at either getting wide or making turns, there are 2 really fun drills that we like to do. The first one helps you get wide, and that's called the lean drill. It also helps you establish a body position that's very comfortable for when you cross the wakes. Here's what you do. Stand beside the boat wake and simply pull out to one side. In the right body position, shoulders back, chest up, hips up, body in line from your knees to your neck, and just hold it. And ride that position outside one wake, way out beside the boat, for as long as you can, 10, 20, 30 seconds. If you are in the right body position, it's very, very easy. And the wall of water you put up behind you is beautiful. It will be solid and not broken. If, however, you're not in the right position and you start to drop a shoulder or your hips go back, it's not possible to hold that nice position and have a steady wall of water coming behind you. So tweak yourself in that position. Once you're in that position, memorize it. That's the position that you want to always hold through the wakes. That's nice and strong. It's efficient, and because of that, it's going to allow you to move easily through the work zone and cast out to get ready for your turn. If your turns aren't just the way you want them, there's something we can do about that too. We have a drill called the butterfly drill. It's really fun. If you pull out to the right, go around number 1 ball, come back to the wake, tag the wake. Do not cross it. Go straight back out in that nice body position, go around 3, tag the wake, and then go straight back out to number 5. You make a butterfly wing. You're going to isolate one side of the course going one way, and then on the way back, you can isolate the other side of the course. This really helps with the lean drill going outbound, the turning early coming back. Your turns will end up being flawless after you do this drill. I'm going to give you a general speed to start at when people are learning the course for the first time. For a kid, I'm going to say generally 18 to 20 miles per hour. And for an adult, I'm going to say generally 24 to 26 miles per hour. After you've learned to go around all 6 buoys, we come back and we learn the entry gates. The entry gates are the most important part of the entire slalom course, and they're also the trickiest. The gates are easier to learn to run if you have pre-gates. Pre-gates are green lineup buoys that help with people going through the gates. If you are ordering a slalom course, ask if you can order the pre-gates or the green 55-meter buoys because they will help tremendously with learning how to run the gates. Here we go. When the boat goes through the pre-gates, the skier needs to pull out for a 3-second count. Out, 2, 3, and then glide for 3. Okay, so we're going to pull out for a count of 3, then we're going to glide for a count of 3 before we start our turn in. By this time, the nose of the boat is crossing the gates, and the skier is going to turn and get close to the right-hand gate ball as you approach number 1 ball so that you can turn nice and early to go to 2. If you follow this same pattern throughout the course, it's going to be very easy. So in order to get credit for the entire 6 buoys in the course, you have to go through the entry gates, you have to go around all 6 buoys. This is kind of fast, but this is what it looks like. And you have to go out the exit gates. That is a complete pass. All right, guys, so to summarize course skiing 101. Number 1, be in the right body position. Number 2, turn early. Number 3, work on getting wider gradually and work on going up in speed gradually. Finally, start with the entry gates, go around all 6 turn buoys nice and early, and go out the exit gates. Have fun. Ski well. In the towed water sports world, wakeboarding has become very popular. Wakeboarding is a fun sport and it's easy to learn, especially after you've learned to ski. So if you learn to ski first and then learn to wakeboard, it's very easy. It is a shorter, wider board and you ride it like you would ride a skateboard. So a lot of people who come over from a skateboard world or from a snowboard world would really enjoy riding a wakeboard. Wakeboarding is awesome. You can do it on any lake. It doesn't matter if it's calm or if it's rough or if you have short runs or long runs. Pretty quickly after you learn to get up on a wakeboard, you can start turning 180s and start jumping the wakes and getting big air. But make sure if you go out wakeboarding, you have on a helmet. Wakeboards, like skis, come in all different sizes. Wakeboards are measured in centimeters long versus skis that are measured in inches long. We generally put a kid on a wakeboard between 120 and 130 centimeters long, and we generally put adults on wakeboards that are between 130 and 145 centimeters long, really depending on the ability and also on their weight. To get up on a wakeboard, you're going to want to sit in the water with your board up in front of you. Bring your knees as close to your chest as you can. Have your arms straight, and if at all possible, have your elbows slightly around your knees. This will help keep your knees together and it will prevent a lot of water from coming into your chest area, which creates drag and makes it very difficult to try to get up. Once you tell the boat you're ready and the driver puts the boat in gear, keep your knees bent, The boat's going to drag you a little bit, and as you start to plane, drive your front foot towards the boat while staying in a nice crouched position. Once you're up on the wakeboard, you want to make sure that you stay low and that your handle stays close to your body. In the beginning, you want to make sure that your weight is shifted slightly back. As you get better, you'll find that your weight can be evenly distributed, about 50-50 on the board. But in the beginning, keep your weight slightly back so that the front of the board doesn't dig in and do a nosedive. If you want to start going side to side, you literally just push on your toe side, your toes, or rock back on your heels. This is creating a toe side and a heel side edge. This will allow you to edge one side to the other. Now, you're going to find that you like one side better than the other. Don't favor that side. It's very important when you start learning to go toe side and heel side equally as much. Then you can slowly start going over the wakes and eventually start going over one wake at a time and getting some air. Obviously, the more you practice, the better you'll get. So ride a lot. The more you ride, the more tricks you will learn. The sky's the limit. We hope you've enjoyed our video. If you have any other water ski or wakeboard questions, come see us at Coble Ski School in Lillington, North Carolina. Otherwise, you can find us online at cobleskieschool.com. Now, go ski, have fun, and be safe. Woo!